Are you sick of tenting? Are you ready to get into your first RV? Let's pick out the right one. The first thing you need to determine is how you camp. This is the most important thing because that will determine what you want. Because obviously if you're moving off of tenting, there's a reason for it. So you need to determine whether you like to go just park it at the lake and just visit the same spot over and over. 2, if you like to go small bush camping. 3, if you want to do long-term travel, or if you're just a weekend warrior. Each vehicle is very specific. Let's kind of go over the points on a couple of them and just see what fits best for you. If you're into destination camping, you might want to get into something a little bit bigger because really you're only going to park it once. So this unit over here, 38 feet, awesome unit. Truly one of my favorites. But you can sit it there and it basically parks as an instant cabin. Now, that's not just a 38-foot trailer that would work for this. Potentially you could get into something like a fifth wheel. Those really give you a higher ceiling, a little bit more enjoyable there, a little easier to tow as well because they're designed more like fifth wheel pin box hitches, so they're a little easier. So you could get into something like this where the fifth wheel could actually help a little bit more with the way that you camp. As you see here, the fifth wheel gives you a little bit more for space on the inside, but it's also a little easier to tow. But yet again, it works a little bit better as a destination. So you're coming from actually tenting and maybe you want to continue hitting those sites. You'll want to go something small. So the smaller the better in that situation. I'm not just saying something like this, but we have a ton of small stuff. Let's go take a quick look. So truthfully, anything under 20 feet or potentially 25 feet will fit you in most boondogging campsites. So it'll take you into most off-road sites and things like that. So you get it into something that's say 17 feet when it says on the back or 16 or even like a 19-footer. You're going to be pretty good for anything that's going to get you into the more off-road or bush campsites. And these are perfect for that stuff. Now, not saying you can't use these for more long-term stuff, but these are definitely more ideal for fitting in your driveway, going out on the weekend and doing things like that. These are really great for that. And then even here, they still have the stuff that you need. Your bed, your dinette, a good little kitchen, a big fridge, and the space normally is really good. Maybe you're a weekend warrior and you love to go as much as possible, but just short little trips. This is when I would recommend highly, and I mean highly, I would recommend getting into something like a motorhome. And the reason for it is the ease of use. Now, you can use a motorhome for long trips. Absolutely, they're comfy, they're good enough. You can get them in different sizes, and that gets into some more what kind of motorhome do you want. But for the most part, a small Class C is one of the most perfect things. Sorry, we got a train over here. It's one of the most perfect things for nice, short bit trips. You go on the weekend, you do 2 or 3 days with the family, and it's easy. You have your stuff packed in, you get it home, you take your stuff out, and you're already planning for next weekend because that's what they're for. It's as easy as driving your truck, and it's just as fun as camping with anything else. No setup, and one of the benefits to most motorhomes, they come with generators. So even if you're in a site with no plugins, you have all the stuff you want. You have your AC, you have your power, your microwave. So if you're lazy, you just want hot dogs, and you don't feel like starting a fire, motorhome is where it's at. So this is the last one. You're planning a long trip. And now, you say that the long trip you're planning is somewhere in the realms of 1 to 3 months. You're going across the country, you're going to the US, maybe you're going to Mexico. That's all good. All those places are great. This is where I recommend getting into something like a fifth wheel. Now, you can do it in other vehicles, absolutely. You can do it in a Class A motorhome. Heck, you can do it in a travel trailer. It's just the level of comfort you want. I would recommend doing it in a fifth wheel, not because you have to, but because it's like basically dragging your house with you. Now, if you have a little bit more money, more cash to burn, a Class A will do what a fifth wheel does, except for you don't need a truck. And then, of course, obviously, if you want to get into something that you could potentially use for more small campsites and things like that, and you're okay with a little less space, there's nothing wrong with getting into a travel trailer and doing it. But You'll feel a little bit more cramped, especially after being in it for more than a month or two. And it's nothing wrong with it because they're still just as good. But I would recommend either a fifth wheel or a large Class A if you're doing big trips. Just overall enjoy them for enjoyment purposes. Anyways, like and subscribe. We do stuff like this every single day. And if you're looking for a free campsite planner, check out campsmartlife.com. Looking forward to seeing you.